Hey everyone, how are you today? Today we are on week 4 of, hold on, let me start the recording in the other one. Hey everyone, how are you today? Today we are on week 4 of, hold on, let me start the recording in the other one. Hey everyone, today we are on week 4 of, hold on, let me start the recording in the other one. Okay. We are on week 4 of, hold on, let me start the recording in the other one. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry for the delay. Okay, here we go. Hopefully, it'll all work out. I'm by myself today. And anyway, we're on week 4 of our first journey in hopefully 2026. Yeah. By myself today. Okay. And anyway, we're on week 4 of our first journey. And okay, now I don't have an echo. Let's start one more time. I'm sorry. Tech things sometimes take a minute. So anyway, today we're on week 4 of our first 40-day journey in 2026. So far we have in primer 1, we have steered the fear, cranked the courage. What was number 3? Tamed the shame, and we had the introduction to moral injury last week. And so today we're going to act on anxiety. So you know how sometimes when you have a goal or something you want to do, it's like that little bit of butterflies in the stomach before you get started, like, what am I doing? And you get all these questions like, can I do it? What if I can't do it? And just all these things sometimes coming at you before you even get started. So lesson 1, remember in primer 1, we steered the fear, but we also took 100% accountability for our actions and decisions. In primer 2, we cranked the courage for release a change in ourselves. And then in primer 3, it was a moral injury intro, and we tamed the shame in preparation to take action. And today is actually action day. So anyway, we're going to apply the action to make the changes. And so I want to first talk a little bit about history. And so I like this. I have a Bible that is called the Founders Bible, and it has a lot of history in it about our founding fathers, i.e. the Founders Bible. And so there's a story in there about George Washington, and it says that he carried a pen, like a writing pen, that was inscribed with victory or death. And that 2 Indian chiefs determined that George Washington was under the protection of the Great Spirit. One of them personally shot at him 17 times and missed 17 times. Another British major, his name was Patrick Ferguson. He and 3 other sharpshooters had George Washington in their sights, and none of them took a shot. And I mean, these were at point blank range. So my question is, what do you want to operate in? Do you want to operate in victory or in death? So one way to ensure victory over your goals is to employ a coach, a peer coach, an accountability partner, set it up as a family to hold each other as accountable. That's how we started 40-Day Family, actually. That's how we started holding ourselves more accountable, as we did it as a family. And then studies have been conducted by the International Coaching Federation on the effectiveness of coaching. And it showed that 99% of people were interviewed say that they saw effectiveness in their coaching. and 96% of them said that they would hire a coach again. So if you don't have anyone that you can work with, hire a coach and start making those changes, start bettering your life, start feeling better about yourself. Um, I am still completely working on it. So I strongly encourage you to use the coaching option to increase your success. And you can find a coach anywhere. They're online everywhere, or you can send me a message and we can talk about coaching. So a lot of my stuff, like I said in the last one, it's geared towards veterans because I was studying moral injury, and that's where most of the studies have been done. But anytime if I forget to say veterans and civilians, just know that, this is for whoever wants to make a change, whoever wants to strengthen your family, whoever wants to build a stronger life. So just know that. So I want you to ask yourselves, what mission do you still have? You're still here because God still has a mission for you to complete. Like George Washington, he saw thousands fall at his side and none approached him. And that is a scripture, Psalm 91:7, that you see that thousands fall by your sides, but you're untouched. So, like George Washington, you have also lived through whatever you've been through, whether you're a civilian or a veteran, for a reason. Could you have been preserved for a specific purpose in serving your country on the home front? So, and George Washington did that later. I'm sure that he had to steer his fear and crank his courage and tame the shame and act on anxiety as he was in many, many battles. And then as it changed after he got out of the military. So change is inevitable. Goal setting is sometimes scary, but I believe you can do it. George Washington later became the first president of the United States. And just like him, you too are meant to be something. May not be president of a country, but whatever your calling is, if it's your calling, it's important that you do it. Whether you're working out in front of everyone as a spokesperson or whether you're behind the scenes doing what it is you do best. So we must all reach up and continue to steer the fear, crank the courage, and tame the shame and act on anxiety. Only now you have a newer and improved crank sewing machine, which I told you I didn't have my grandma's last time, but this one is a crank. And I put them in this order for a reason. So we started with a single chain stitch. Remember, we had the chain stitch and it'll pull out if you just have it. If it's knotted, it stays. So you could think of this as bondage, or you can think of this as your support system, your goals, your God. Like, it's sturdy, it's staying, it's not going anywhere. You can do this. I kind of tend to like to think of it as on the positive side instead of the negative side. And anybody who knows me knows that I like to take something old and use it for something good. So if you've had chains of bondage, and I've come a long way. The first time I tried to do a video, it took me 2 hours to push record and nobody was watching. I was that scared of the camera. And so me personally, I won't say my videos are any better, but I can get on here and with a little bit of confidence and share what I've been going through or what I've been through, in hopes that what I share will ignite you to make changes in your family and your individual life. So I just, after that, so that was the chain stitcher. And then we went to the crank with the shuttle machine that I wasn't able to show you because I gave it away. And then we went back to the treadle, which is a little bit faster. And now we're back to the crank. So the crank is not as fast, but for a new person sewing, so for a new person, you're making new changes for the first time, the crank is a little bit more accurate. It's slower and you can guide it better. So it the treadle, although the treadle's faster, the crank is slow and steady. And it's better to go 2 steps forward than it is to step back, then start and fizzle and never return. So that's why I did that in the order that I did. So you can act on anxiety, sit with your spouse, create that family mission statement, and just what will go in your statement. And then when will you share it with your family and friends who will benefit from this statement? And after you're in agreement, this is really important. After you're in agreement, share it with your sons and your daughters, your extended family, and begin to pull people in and start to make a difference with what you want your family to be known as. So, and you could ask for ideas from others as well. There's an exercise that I do with people in coaching where we actually look at other families and decide what we like that they have. So as you're creating this family mission statement, you're beginning to create the beautiful stitches in your own family legacy. You're beginning to change. So you've just implemented the fourth step in Prochaska's readiness model for change. So I'm so glad if you've watched all of these so far, and I pray for those who watch, and I pray that you will be able to make those changes and strengthen your family and be able to be more resilient and be more effective as a family and in your family and create that home of a safe haven for your spouse and your children. And then, as always, I always share a few uh, oils that I like, and the ones that I like for that little bit of anxiety or butterflies in the stomach change is there's a calming blend. Basil is good for this, and neroli. And then the lavender is always, that's the Swiss Army knife of oils. When in doubt, use lavender. And so I just really, sometimes I wear jewelry that has a diffuser, but most of the time I simply just put it on my wrist like you would wear a perfume. So this is another George Washington thing, and it's a story about him. And then when I think about this story, this is just so much sacrifice. What people did who were in our country at the very beginning. So Washington soldiers, they marched in the cold with bleeding feet, no food, no shoes, no sleep. And when I read this story, I'm like, oh my gosh, would I go that far for my country? Would you go that far for your country? And I know many of you have sacrificed the equivalent and even more. And I sincerely thank you for that. But I hope that you and others are doing, and that you're allowed to, you can enjoy our country, even though you've sacrificed so much. So compare that to, what are you willing to sacrifice for your family? What are you willing to give up for your family? I know some of you have given much already, but this is where the battle lies now. And I think about this, okay, everybody's getting ready for Super Bowl, right? What if we gave up Super Bowl Sunday to really spend time and connect with our families? Like, that would be huge if everybody that gathered to watch the Super Bowl, instead they played games and they got to know each other, and they had the celebration of food and they're celebrating family. How powerful would that be? Would that be something you're willing to sacrifice for your family? Were you preserved to fight this battle for the family? As you're writing or thinking about your family mission statement, what stirs your heart? What is your family already known as? I have families, like our family with my sons were at home. We were kind of known for service. My youngest son would load up our lawnmower and go mow somebody else's yard before he would mow our own yard. He just has that servant's heart. We have friends that are known for their musical abilities. Some are known for their sporting abilities. Others are known for just helping others. We have some that are known for giving money when someone's in need. I have another family that they go out and they serve the homeless. So, where is your heart? What does your family already do? There's probably something that you're already doing that is your calling. And if not, try to find out what it is. What is keeping your family together worth? And I plead with you not only to ask yourselves these questions, but to answer them as well. So take the appropriate action needed to fulfill the new mission. So this week, please finish your family and your individual mission statement, and then begin applying it, begin sharing it. And you, like George Washington, you can do this. You can make the changes, and you can change as life changes. And I know you can do this. We all love our families, and sometimes, and I'm talking to myself here, and I'm guilty of it. You think that, some things are whatever you're doing is the best. And then later on, trust me, I know this, you find out that, oh, I thought I was doing really good, but I really messed up. And that's okay, because we can ask for forgiveness, and we can move on, and we can and take the next step to make things better. And as long as we're breathing, we can always get back up and try again. And sometimes that's what it takes. I still do it. I am still doing it. I mean, there are so many things that just to get this video to you is I'm overcoming. So I just want you to know you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So with that, I want you to have a beautiful day and happy family building.